The rain poured down in thick sheets as a tired man stood outside one of the most luxurious hotels in the city. His clothes were worn, his shoes were muddy, and his face carried the exhaustion of someone who had spent far too many nights alone. People rushed past him without a second glance. Some looked at him with pity. Others looked at him with disgust. No one knew that beneath those old clothes stood a man worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Before we begin, if you believe kindness can change lives and that everyone deserves a second chance, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring more inspiring stories like this one. The man's name was Daniel Harper. At 42 years old, he owned one of the largest technology companies in the country. Newspapers called him a genius. Business magazines praised his success. Investors trusted him with billions of dollars. Yet despite all his achievements, Daniel carried a sadness that money could never erase. 5 years earlier, his wife had passed away after a long illness. The loss shattered him. While his company continued to grow, his heart slowly withdrew from the world. He became obsessed with one question that haunted him every day: did people value him for who he was, or only for what he owned? The more he thought about it, the more he realized he no longer knew the answer. Executives treated him like royalty. Politicians wanted his support. Strangers smiled when they learned his name. But Daniel wondered what would happen if nobody knew he was rich. One morning, he made a decision that shocked even his closest advisors. He handed control of daily operations to trusted executives, dressed in inexpensive clothes, and began traveling across the country anonymously. He wanted to see the world through different eyes. What he discovered broke his heart. At expensive restaurants, waiters ignored him. Store employees followed him as if he might steal something. Security guards asked him to leave public spaces where wealthy customers gathered. People who once would have begged for a meeting with Daniel Harper now treated him as if he were invisible. Day after day, rejection followed him. Yet Daniel continued his journey because each painful experience revealed a truth he had never seen before. One rainy evening, he arrived in a wealthy neighborhood known for its grand mansions. He was soaked from head to toe and desperately needed shelter. A magnificent estate stood at the end of the street, glowing warmly through the storm. Daniel walked to the gate and politely asked if he could wait under the covered entrance until the rain slowed. The owner, a wealthy businessman hosting an elegant party inside, glanced at Daniel through a window. Within moments, a security guard appeared and ordered him to leave immediately. Humiliated, Daniel turned away. The rain grew heavier. Cold wind whipped through the streets. As he walked down the sidewalk, he noticed a small side entrance connected to the mansion's service area. A woman stepped outside carrying a basket of laundry. She appeared to be in her early 30s, dressed in a simple maid's uniform. Her name was Emma. Unlike everyone else, Emma didn't look at Daniel with suspicion. She looked at him with concern. She noticed his trembling hands and soaked clothing. Without asking questions, she invited him to stand beneath a covered section near the service entrance where he could escape the rain. Daniel expected her to send him away after a few minutes. Instead, she returned with a warm towel and a cup of tea. The simple gesture nearly brought tears to his eyes. For weeks, people had judged him based solely on appearance. Yet this woman, who clearly worked long hours for modest pay, offered kindness without expecting anything in return. As the rain continued, Emma sat nearby during her break. She spoke about her life. She worked multiple jobs to support her elderly mother and younger brother. Money was always tight. Some months she barely paid the bills. Yet despite her struggles, she maintained a hopeful outlook that Daniel found remarkable. Emma explained that her father had taught her a lesson before he passed away. He always said that the true character of a person is revealed by how they treat those who can do nothing for them. Those words struck Daniel deeply. For the first time in years, he felt understood. Over the next several days, Daniel remained in the city. Each evening, he returned to the neighborhood and occasionally crossed paths with Emma. Their conversations grew longer. She never asked for money. She never tried to impress him. She simply treated him like a human being. Meanwhile, Emma faced serious problems of her own. The mansion owner planned to reduce staff and cut costs. Several employees would soon lose their jobs. Emma feared she might be among them. At home, her mother's medical expenses continued to rise. The stress weighed heavily on her shoulders, but she rarely complained. Daniel listened carefully. The more he learned about her, the more he admired her strength. One afternoon, while walking through a public park, Daniel witnessed something unexpected. A young boy accidentally dropped his wallet. Several people noticed but kept walking. Emma happened to be nearby. Without hesitation, she chased after the child and returned the wallet. The grateful boy's mother thanked her repeatedly. Emma simply smiled and continued on her way. Daniel watched from a distance. That small act confirmed everything he already suspected. Her kindness was genuine. It wasn't performed for attention. It came naturally from her heart. A few days later, disaster struck. Emma received notice that her position at the mansion had been eliminated. The owner barely looked at her while delivering the news. Years of loyal service meant nothing. Emma packed her belongings and left quietly. That evening, Daniel found her sitting alone on a park bench. For the first time, her optimism seemed shaken. Bills were piling up. Medical treatments needed to be paid. Her future felt uncertain. Yet even then, she worried more about her family than herself. Daniel wanted to reveal his identity immediately. He wanted to solve every problem with a single phone call. But he hesitated. He needed to know whether her kindness would remain unchanged if she discovered who he truly was. The following week brought an unexpected opportunity. Daniel arranged a charity event through one of his foundations. Invitations were sent throughout the city, including to individuals facing financial hardship. Emma received one through a local community center. Curious and hopeful, she attended. The ballroom sparkled with elegance. Hundreds of guests filled the room. Emma felt completely out of place. Then the lights dimmed. A presenter stepped onto the stage and introduced the founder whose generosity had funded countless charitable programs. A giant screen displayed photographs of one of the country's most successful entrepreneurs. Emma stared in disbelief. The face on the screen was instantly familiar. Moments later, Daniel walked onto the stage. Gasps spread across the room. Emma's eyes widened. The man she believed to be a struggling traveler was actually one of the wealthiest people in the nation. Daniel approached the microphone and shared the story of his journey. He described the rejection, the judgment, and the loneliness he experienced while disguised as an ordinary man. Then he spoke about a maid who had shown him compassion when everyone else turned away. The audience listened in complete silence. Daniel invited Emma onto the stage. Tears filled her eyes as she slowly walked forward. Looking directly at her, Daniel explained that her kindness had restored something he thought he had lost forever, his faith in people. The room erupted into applause. But Daniel wasn't finished. He announced the creation of a new community initiative designed to help struggling families, and he asked Emma to help lead it. Her life experience, integrity, and compassion made her the perfect person for the role. The offer included financial security, healthcare support for her mother, and opportunities to help thousands of people facing challenges similar to her own. Emma stood speechless. Everything had changed. Not because she chased wealth. Not because she sought recognition. But because she chose kindness when nobody was watching. Before we reach the end of this story, if this journey has touched your heart so far, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who believes kindness still exists in this world. Special comment request: comment below. Kindness always finds its way back. Months later, the community program transformed countless lives. Families received support, children gained educational opportunities, and elderly citizens found access to care they desperately needed. Emma became a symbol of compassion throughout the city. Daniel, meanwhile, discovered a new purpose beyond business success. He learned that true wealth is not measured by bank accounts, luxury homes, or corporate achievements. It is measured by the lives we touch, the people we help, and the kindness we offer when there is nothing to gain in return. The millionaire who disguised himself to discover the truth found something far greater than answers. He found hope. And the maid who had so little to give ended up giving the most valuable gift of all, a reminder that one act of kindness can change a life forever. If this story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you of the power of compassion, please leave a comment, like the video, and share it with others. You never know whose life might be changed by a simple reminder that kindness still matters. Because sometimes, the smallest act of kindness becomes the beginning of someone's greatest miracle. The end.